October 17th, 2024. The championship is on the line. 90,000 fans are holding their breath as star midfielder Kalen Rask cuts across the pitch. The air is electric, thick with the smell of turf and tension. Then a sound no one wants to hear, a sickening pop, followed by a scream that cuts through the stadium's roar. Rask is down, clutching his knee. The replay is brutal, a non-contact injury, the kind that ends careers. The knee buckles at an unnatural angle. Ligaments shred. Medical staff on social media are already diagnosing it from their couches. A complete ACL rupture, torn meniscus, a year on the sidelines, minimum. The team's trainer sprints onto the field, black bag in hand. He kneels, performs a cursory check, and then produces it, the small, unassuming aerosol can, the magic spray. A quick, perfunctory hiss of cold mist envelops Rask's knee. Publicly, this is ethyl chloride, a vapocoolant, a simple topical anesthetic designed to numb the immediate searing pain. It's a placebo with a sting, a bit of sideline theater to give a player the psychological edge to limp off the field. That's the story we're all sold. But what happened next defied that story. It defied biology. 2 minutes later, Kalen Rask wasn't just on his feet, he was jogging. 5 minutes later, he was back in the game, making the same explosive cuts that should have been physically impossible. He didn't just play, he dominated, scoring the winning goal in stoppage time. The commentators called it a miracle, a testament to human will. But in the quiet, encrypted back channels where sports data analysts and intelligence operatives intersect, they called it something else, an anomaly, a red flag. Our investigation began with that anomaly. We obtained a package of internal medical reports leaked from the league's own performance analytics department. The source, a data scientist with a crisis of conscience, called it the Phoenix dossier. The files are a labyrinth of biometric data, sensor readouts, and post-game cellular analyses that are never meant for public consumption. While the team's official press release on Rask mentioned a minor sprain, the Phoenix dossier painted a picture of biological impossibility. Thermal imaging from before and after the spray showed a near instantaneous reduction in inflammation, not just masking it, but eliminating it. Micro-tissue scans taken under the guise of routine drug testing revealed a rate of accelerated tissue regeneration that baffled the league's own medical consultants. The documents showed collagen fibers weaving themselves back together at a speed that would normally take weeks, not minutes. Cellular mitosis rates were recorded at over 500% of the peak human norm. This wasn't healing, this was rewriting. This wasn't a one-off event. Cross-referencing the Phoenix dossier with injury reports across multiple sports over the last 18 months, a pattern emerged. Dozens of athletes, all from teams with high-level corporate and political connections, experiencing medically improbable recoveries after the application of this same, seemingly innocuous spray. A dislocated shoulder reset and functional in under a minute. A grade 2 hamstring tear allowing a sprinter to hit top speed moments later. The official statements were always the same: grit, determination, a miracle. But the data doesn't lie. The data screams that something is fundamentally wrong. Our intelligence, sourced from a contact within the defense technology sector, suggests this is no miracle. It's a protocol. The magic spray is the field-level deployment of a classified biotech initiative codenamed Project Asclepius. This project wasn't born in a sports science lab. It was conceived in the sterile, windowless briefing rooms of military research agencies, designed for a single purpose: radical combat recovery. The technology was deemed too volatile, too unpredictable for military deployment, so it was shelved. Or so we were told. Now it appears it was simply privatized. Its testing grounds shifted from the battlefield to the playing field. The world's most elite athletes, with their meticulously monitored bodies and high-stakes performances, are the perfect lab rats. What if the routine sideline intervention we cheer for, that symbol of a player's toughness, is actually a covert, real-time human trial conducted in front of millions? Following the anomalous recovery data and the whispers of Asclepius, the next step was to follow the money. The official supplier of the magic spray to these leagues is a generic medical supply company, a corporate cutout with a clean record and a bland portfolio. But forensic accounting tells a different story. Using blockchain analysis and tracking international wire transfers, we peeled back the layers of shell corporations. Funds flowed from offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands through holding companies in Cyprus and Malta, all designed to obscure the final destination. The trail, a complex web of ghost entities with names like Apex Performance Solutions and Regenerative Dynamics LLC, ultimately funneled millions of dollars into a single shadowy entity, Omnigen Labs. Omnigen isn't a household name. It has no public-facing website, no press releases. Its headquarters is an unmarked, brutalist concrete cube in a privately owned Swiss industrial park, shielded from satellite imagery by sophisticated electronic countermeasures. But its influence is undeniable. Declassified intelligence memos obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request that took 2 years to process detail Project Asclepius as a DARPA-funded initiative from the late 2010s. The goal was clear: achieve tactical bioregeneration through the deployment of autonomous, self-assembling nanotechnology. The project was officially terminated in 2021 due to ethical concerns and unpredictable outcomes. But the technology didn't disappear. It was licensed for a nominal fee to a private entity. That entity was Omnigen Labs. Patent filings from Omnigen Labs, which we unearthed from the European Patent Office archives, describe the science in chilling detail. They call it a bioresponsive compound, but what it is a living liquid. The spray isn't a chemical. It's a delivery system for a swarm of programmable, microscopic machines, nanites. These nanites, suspended in a cryosolution, activate upon contact with human tissue. Following pre-programmed instructions, they identify cellular damage, break down necrotic tissue, and then act as a molecular scaffold, forcing the body's own cells to replicate and rebuild at an exponential rate. It's a biological reset button. The patent is a blueprint for playing God, filed under the mundane heading of Novel Methods for Topical Tissue Repair. The men behind this technology are even more alarming than the science itself. Omnigen's board of directors reads like a roll call from a geopolitical thriller. The chairman is a disgraced pharmaceutical CEO, previously sanctioned by the World Anti-Doping Agency for his role in a state-sponsored doping program in Eastern Europe. The head of research is a biohacker who fled Silicon Valley after whistleblowers exposed his non-consensual gene editing experiments. And the primary investor, the man who signs the checks, is a venture capitalist whose portfolio is deeply entangled with sanctioned state-owned energy conglomerates and sovereign wealth funds from authoritarian regimes. These are not men interested in the purity of sport. They are interested in control, in power, in owning the patent on the next stage of human evolution. This isn't about helping athletes. It's about weaponized biology, beta-tested on the world's most valuable and visible human assets. The sports arena is the perfect cover. It provides a steady supply of test subjects, a high-stress environment to push the technology to its limits, and a global audience conditioned to accept miraculous recoveries as part of the spectacle. The magic spray isn't just healing. It's systematically resetting biological limits, collecting data with every application, refining the formula for its next, more sinister purpose. The question is no longer just athletes are being used as guinea pigs. The question is whose bodies are being cataloged in this grand experiment and whose geopolitical agenda is being advanced with every impossible comeback. With the financial and technological architecture of Asclepius exposed, the human cost was still a ghost in the machine. We had the data, the patents, the money trail, but we didn't have the operator's manual until a source came in from the cold. He was a former bioethicist at Omnigen Labs, a man haunted by the work he had helped unleash. Our meeting took place in the dead of night, in a sterile hotel room in Zurich, swept for bugs twice. He spoke in low, urgent tones, his hands trembling as he slid an encrypted hard drive across the table. "You think it's just a spray," he whispered, "but the spray is just the delivery, the lock. You haven't seen the key." The files on that drive were the final, terrifying piece of the puzzle. The Asclepius Protocol wasn't a one-time application. It was a persistent, networked system. The nanites, he explained, don't become inert after repairing tissue. They lie dormant, integrated into the host cellular structure, each swarm emitting a unique low-frequency resonance signature. They form a biological mesh, a receiver waiting for a signal. And the signal was coming from inside the stadium. The whistleblower's data included internal schematics for a new generation of biometric sensors being quietly installed in stadiums and arenas around the world. Publicly, they are part of fan engagement and player safety initiatives, tracking everything from player speed and heart rate to hydration levels. But their true function is far more sinister. The whistleblower revealed an interface, a software dashboard that looked like a fantasy sports app designed by an intelligence agency. The control interface showed a real-time map of the playing field, with each athlete who had been treated with the spray glowing as a node on a network. Their vital signs were displayed in stark, cold numbers. But next to those numbers were a series of sliders and commands: activate regeneration, suppress lactic acid, induce adrenaline cascade, modulate pain response. The trainer on the field wasn't the one in control. They were just the technician who installed the hardware. The real control was being wielded remotely by an unseen operator. Who was this operator? The whistleblower confirmed our fears. The data from these stadium sensors wasn't being fed to the teams or the leagues. It was being routed through a private encrypted cloud server owned by a third-party data analytics firm, a firm called Vector Analytics. A quick search reveals Vector as a boutique sports consultancy, but a deeper dive into their federal contracts shows their primary client isn't a sports franchise. It's a notorious private military contractor with deep ties to global intelligence networks. The same contractor, we found, holds a sub-license on Omnigen's nanotechnology for non-lethal battlefield applications. The entire ecosystem was a closed loop. A defense contractor was using athletes as live test subjects to refine a technology that could create remotely controlled super soldiers. The fallout from this revelation is staggering. The game is no longer a contest of human ability. It's a meticulously controlled experiment. An athlete's heroic final push could be the result of a remotely triggered adrenaline dump. A rival player's sudden fatigue could be a command to their own latent nanites to suppress energy production. An injury could be switched off to secure a win, or allowed to fester to manipulate a betting line or secure a strategic loss. The very fabric of athletic competition, the struggle, the pain, the triumph, is being rendered meaningless, a puppet show where the strings are pulled from a dark room thousands of miles away. We thought we were watching a game of skill and will, but what if we're just watching a meticulously controlled simulation? If they can do this to a star athlete in front of 80,000 people and a global television audience, the only question left is, what are they planning to do to the rest of us? The investigation continues.